If you're interested in seeing how you can grow your portfolio in unique and interesting ways, join the charge. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, heck, we're even on TikTok.
Good morning. Welcome to Stock Talk. Today we're going to address that Lassonde curve again. I think we talked about it once before, and it's certainly something we talk about in the market model mindset. We're going to talk about that, so we'll get to that in a second. And we're going to review a couple companies and what's happening. Also, we're on the hunt for lithium and uranium stories, which are going to do very well here in the next future. We certainly think with this whole shift in energy. And we've been going to the OKtoberfest with Red Cloud.
Yeah.
So that's been very interesting. How are you doing, Austin? How have you found the Red Cloud seminars?
Doing really well. Red Cloud's OKtoberfest has been awesome. They've got a great variety of companies in a whole bunch of different spaces within mining, a bunch of commodities companies. Really cool getting to listen to all the different options that they have out there. They really kind of have something for everyone. If you're interested in close to home in Canada, the United States, they got tons of options. If you're looking for plays in Africa or Northern Europe or South America, they've got a little something for everyone. Gold, lithium, silver, nickel. We've talked to uranium companies from them, phosphate companies, which a little teaser for maybe Friday's show. But yeah, really cool, really enjoying it. It's awesome that they're able to put something like that together.
Yes, it's a great event. And like I said, it crosses everything from your gold and your copper to the other battery energy metals and depending on region and sector. So it's great. It really, they've done a great job. It's a 3-day event. This is day 3. And once again, there's lots of replays. So if you actually go to Red Cloud on YouTube and subscribe, you'll see all these presentations that are on there. So if you want to see them in the back end, you can as well. And on that, because we focus so much on energy, is this push for lithium. We saw Argentina lithium here. We talked about it on Monday, and I did a catch-up video with them as well, which is coming out very soon. It's pulled back a bit today, but you could see that the world outside of the mainstream news, there's a lot of also kind of free press that's coming out on the requirement and need for lithium, for all these battery energy metals to have this future that people want. And you've got to go to the places where they have it. And some of these South American countries aren't really open for business. They're a lot tougher. I mean, certainly not Venezuela. You're not going to do anything there unless there's some major changes. But Argentina is very much so open up for business. And that's what we kind of focus in on here is you're finding the right metals and minerals. We have a big macro outlook and model, and you need to find places that will give you the best shot to start poking holes in the ground.
Yeah, and then finding exciting opportunities like that is what really kind of gets both of us going. We can get really, really excited about these different opportunities and stuff. So really cool to get the exposure to all these different projects, hear what everyone's doing, and see the neat different approaches. But yeah, Argentina lithium has been a very interesting story. We've seen it pull back a bit today, but I still really think they're on the right track. We kind of know the pathway. We've lined that out for people. So something to definitely pay attention to over the next while.
Sure. And that actually brings us into, if we look at this Lassonde curve again, because people will often look at a stock and especially if it rises dramatically, and then it has to have a pullback. And I'll say that to people if they call me. If the stock runs that fast up, I'll say to people, be careful. It'll probably have a pullback here, and it has to. And it's not because it's a pump and dump, and it's not because of any of those types of things. It's just simply someone looks at that and goes, "Oh my God, if I had put in money 2 weeks ago and all of a sudden this thing's run up." You'd be crazy not to take some money off the table. And that's how this works, is that you're going to want to take some money off the table when you have some returns. Because I mean, it's one thing if you've got the stomach to go, I'm all in and I'm waiting to hopefully find a mine. That's a very, very rare person, an investor. Often what we see is this Lassonde curve. That's from Pierre Lassonde, who was the founder of Franco-Nevada, which was a gold stream. like 30 years in the business, is a big name in mining. Everyone knows the name. But this is a curve that kind of gives people a very general idea of what to expect. And we try to highlight companies in different parts of this, these two curves, really, that are mushed together. The one that's the most obvious one is the one where you're out there wildcatting, or you're exploring the speculative area where there's lots of excitement. There might be some data because it's like a renovation story from the past. Or they've got some old data from old holes, and they're going to reevaluate. Or it's a brand new property, kind of like Goliath, where no one's been. There's no data, there's no nothing, and they've done all the work. And you can see this speculation phase that Goliath had in particular, where you're now waiting for assay results, and that's the most dramatic rise you're going to get, and it's the most, I guess, volatile, exciting. But also, it's because it is the ultimate risk. The risk is all there, and you're getting paid for that risk. And that stock can move for lots of different reasons, and you have to play that curve. So that's one whole way to look at something. Because if you're investing to go from a 10-cent IPO new listing with the hope that it becomes a mine, that's very rare, and you're going to hold that thing for a very long time. So that's something, as we kind of progress with this, with generalist investors, explaining to them that may not even be the end goal for a lot of these companies, nor for you as an investor, is knowing where the risk you want to take. Because on that curve, you can see that speculation, phase where you're getting up to where it's, exploration. That's then a peak. And then in the engineering phase, like, you've had the discovery. So everyone's excited. I have a discovery. You're going to see a lot of people bail then. And then people go, what the heck? Why is that the case? And they go, well, because that's their speculative capital. They've made some money. They take it out because they're not really into owning a mining company, or they know that this is the phase in which a lot of work gets done. So it's the engineers come in. You have to build out infrastructure. Not unlike with oil and gas, you have to build the pipeline, attach the pipeline, and that can take. I mean, it can take a long time. Like, let's be honest. But anywhere from 1 to 2 years up until like 10. Maybe even longer. So that whole phase of planning, you've got all the details on some of the environmental studies, but then getting the permits to then actually build, what's that's going to look like. You're working with the city and the region and this and that. So there's so many stages of engineering, logistics to make it happen. That's a waiting game, and obviously that's not a point where people want to sit. So they exit. The stock pulls back, and then you kind of wait. And that next curve is then when you're getting more of like institutions, I will call them institutions in general, or people that understand specifically actual mining, the grade, what's coming out of the ground. They can crunch the numbers because then they have a better sense of what to expect. And then those people are coming in saying, we need X amount of dollars to build the mine, have it, and then you're talking cash flow. So it's a different model, and it depends on where you want to be. And like I said, and that's a very general, or like quick macro look at at that kind of Lassonde curve. And generally in that exploration phase, that people will play that curve, and they play on news and whatnot. And you have to know, listen, if I've made 20% off of good news, maybe you should take some money off the table. That should be part of your model. But after that, if we look at something like a Trigon, which we have a video out as well, we're very excited about them. They're working in Namibia. Jed has done a great job of reinvigorating this old mine, and they're expanding upon the resource. So they've actually gone through a lot of this, and they're able to do exploration at the same time as they have all the engineering done. They have the mine up. They're working. They're actually mining right today. Guanajuato Silver is another one with James Anderson, who was a very quick play that was renovating an older mine. It needed some work, and they were able to put together enough data to go, wait a second, there's a lot going on here. So we like to cover ones that are able to look at different parts of this curve to give people a chance at either they want cash flow from an actual mine, like you're actually mining, but a lot of companies, like I said, they may not even, their goal is just to ride that curve, build up enough data and amass enough so that someone bigger comes along and either does a JV with them, and they get some funding that way, or they just get bought out. So that's kind of the sector in a nutshell at a very basic level. And I think that's important because you can see that even with like that Argentinian lithium, where it rises up very quickly on good news and good expectations. They have a property, looks exciting. There's going to be a whole lot of work then. And we might be, say, at the lower portion of that curve right now. They're going to do a ton of work. There's going to be a ton of data. There's going to be drill results, and it's going to be hopefully inching up along that curve. And if they get better results and better news and things are progressing, it just inches up over time. So I wanted to kind of go through that, blast through it really quick, just to remind people of what to look at, especially since a lot of results will be coming in the next little while.
Yeah, that's the important thing to tie into, and I'm glad you did such a nice breakdown of how it all works, because it's important for people to understand that kind of flow of how the news can affect and move through that as well. But like you said, we're expecting to see a lot of results because everyone's been delayed, everyone's been backed up. The assay labs have had a number of samples coming in from just about everyone. I mean, you talk to any mining company, especially in North America right now, the assay labs are just totally backlogged. So you should expect that even though a majority of drilling season in North America has come and gone, that we're going to see a lot of news and results coming out for these companies over the next few months as those results actually start to get analyzed and turned out.
Perfect. Well, we'll leave that there, and we'll touch back on this every once in a while. And when we talk about maybe looking at specific charts, especially when we move forward, and we've hinted at this before, our Fridays are going to still be live, but we're going to also take them off, so they won't be up for everyone to see. And we're going to make that only for our subscribers moving forward. We're going to get into a bit more detail as to how that looks, but we've been changing things up a lot here. We have an announcement coming up soon in regards to our Wednesday and our partnership there. But we wanted to have something that was just for our subscribers, where we could talk about maybe like a Trigon, or look at another company and go, let's look at this curve, break it down, have an FAQ, have just a bit of a chat. And that way we could still have some content up there. But if someone wants to review it, or they can't watch it live, which a lot of people can't watch live. I mean, it's hard. It's at 9:00 here in Vancouver. It's lunchtime in Toronto. Most of our people will watch it later on in the evening. And we kind of want to put it out there. If someone's really excited, they can watch it live, but we know that we want to have our subscribers have access to that. So that's something that's coming down the pipeline here as well. And we wanted to make it a bit more interactive, so that we can kind of be a bit more free with the way we talk as well.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And it's something you and I have bounced ideas back and forth, and that case study kind of idea is something that we're really interested in kind of doing, being able to pick out some of these companies and sit down, have people ask questions, because we know you guys are great at asking questions and sending us emails with other questions as well. So we'd like to be able to break that down in depth and answer, because, sometimes people have a question and then they're like, okay, that just gave me another 2 questions. I need an answer to these, or how do you make sense out of that? So yeah, that'll be a great opportunity, I think, for us to engage a little bit more with the subscriber base, and hopefully everyone will find that to be a little bit more beneficial for them as well, to get an in-depth look at kind of our process, our thinking on things, and how we really go about analyzing these stories and trying to come up with the results that we love to see, which is obviously stock going through the roof.
Yeah. And it's tough. It's hard to get back to everyone's emails as well. Or, some people have my phone number and they'll text, and even still, I try my best to get back to everyone as fast as I can. But if we can have a day where it's like, listen, jump on in, join us here, ask away, or send it, even just say, hey, I've got a bunch of questions. Can you look into them? And we'll certainly do our best and answer them in there. And if you come back and you're a subscriber, you can watch that video later. So
exactly.
Let's move on. I'll spend all day talking about mining because, listen, it's a lot of people think it's not that exciting, but believe me, you're going to hear a lot more about it as the months and years go by. This has just begun. It's just started. This desperate need for energy. It's clear. You can see it in Europe. Coal is up huge. I mean, we're living in the green phase of the world, where it looked like we were doing pretty well with, limiting coal. It's now on fire. Coal is making a comeback huge. Why? Because either it's the incredible incompetence of those in charge, or on purpose that they've decided to put themselves in a situation where they don't have energy. And we've kind of hinted at that for a long time, is that if you don't have a solution, a backup in place to shut down oil and gas, you leave people no option. They're not going to go cold. That's totally absurd. So, it's certainly interesting to see what's happening. and coal going through the roof. But if you're an environmentalist, or even someone like me, that's not a great thing. We're not really excited about that. It's highlighting a very big problem that we have at the very top end of this kind of this world we live in, and that's really where the blame lies.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're the average person who's hearing from the Department of Energy, let's say in the United States, that it's going to cost you anywhere from 35 to 55% more to heat your home this year, you're damn right. I'm going to try to find some alternative options for doing that, because that's not feasible for the average person, and that's that's a much bigger conversation. But that's a glaring issue that we're being faced with right now.
And that's our target market, is that I'm not here. Like, this is a show for the average person. We're not trying to work with a giant fund or BlackRock or anything like that. I mean, that's why I'll take shots at them all day, but because they're not struggling. If you're asking people with the inflation that's coming in to start shelling out for that, higher taxes, which are definitely coming, and yet it's going to be tough. So people need to be able to look at things and have a chance to make a bit of money in a sector where they have a bit of a say. Like, if you're going up against a BlackRock, that's pretty tough in an investment. In any event, let's move on and leave the mining alone for now. I think there's a couple other news stories that you wanted to get out before I'm rambling on way too long.
Yeah, but before I have to cut you off, Andrew, well, it's just a couple quick updates from companies that whether you've been following us for 1 month, you've been following us for 7, you know that we like these companies. I'll start with QU Media. Kurt and the team over there, everyone knows how much we love them and the model that they've laid out. They've got an exciting update. They've done a partnership deal with, let me just grab the name of the company. It's My TV Patch Wall Smart TV. So think of your smart TV. What they're putting together is, when you turn on your smart TV, you go to the apps, you've got the option to select Netflix or Disney or any one of those. For me in Canada, I don't think they have it in the States. I think it'd be ESPN Plus in the States, but I've got DAZN to watch all the sports and stuff up here. But the interesting thing of what they're doing is they're working to put their channels as an app on smart TVs. And I say channels because we know that that's the plan with Kurt. It's not going to be just one channel. It's not going to be just one idea. It's an entire network platform. So this is an awesome idea for two-way platforms with the potential to have an interactive relationship with other televisions. We know Kurt kind of touched on this as well. He said, we'd like to be looking at kind of these different interactive, maybe even building games into the kids side of the network and stuff like that. So it sets up the opportunity for them to really expand on what they're able to do on that front.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I love QU. I think their model is outstanding. There's some work that has to get done. I don't know if there's going to be a lot that's going to move that stock in the next weeks, and I'm not anticipating any news. So this would be a good time to I certainly wouldn't say, I wouldn't say it's a great story. I can't tell anyone to buy or sell, but this is long-term. They're onto something here. They've hit all the milestones. They hit their mark. And, it's just because it's in a bit of a lull right now in the stock price. I think that they know that's there. There's lots of issues they're dealing with. And there's a lot of work that got done. But I think that especially in the new year, you're going to start to see it really get some traction.
Yeah, and we've touched on that before as well, kind of saying, this team, everyone involved, whether it's Scott Patterson, Simran Hoon, Kurt himself, they've done this before. They've seen this before. They know how to go through the process of not just building a network that is solid, but getting return for their investors as well. So they're going to have plans to combat that, and they're going to be definitely figuring that out and trending in the right direction moving forward. I mean, they are trending in the right direction. All the news that's coming out is positive. So it's just a matter of time and waiting for the market to really see and understand those results. The other story that I wanted to touch on as well, very quickly, ROYALWINDS has been great. They've been turning out news every week here. And this one's actually really exciting. They're working with Australia's largest crypto technology group and NFT dealer to incorporate crypto and NFTs into their platforms. Now, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but some of the ideas that they've touched on is you've got two very large growing groups, right? The gaming sector and the crypto sector. They want to try to marry those together, grow actual blockchain type games, grow collectible type rewards from games in the form of NFTs. So for anyone who's interested in that kind of crypto side of things, that's a really exciting play that ROYALWINDS are doing.
It is. And the thing that I had a great conversation with Peter, and some of it we had to take out, and check out the video that we had. We had to take out some of it because it got a little long, but it got a little philosophical. But at the end of the day, this is a data company. Like it's games, yes, but it is a huge algorithm and data company, and that aspect of it can become very, very valuable. So a lot of these companies too, especially tech, if you just kind of put on a different hat and look at it from a slightly different angle, you start to realize like Facebook isn't a social media. They're an influence. One would argue they're a political influencer more than anything else, like a PR firm, and also a data analytics. That's what they're about. Yeah. They're just selling your data because you gave it away for free. And to each individual, they think, oh, it's just me. I'm not doing anything. Who cares? But that's when you're not putting on that other hat and looking at things on a big statistical level and go, if everyone gives away all their information for free, they can track your behavior, they can track all sorts of things. And that's the interesting part, because you can start predicting behaviors and responses. And these companies do all that. These are not silly, stupid companies. I mean, they're funded from NSA and CIA and these types of groups. That's how Google was even started. I mean, that's how it was started. So that's who funded them. So these are very smart people with very specific goals at hand. And once again, when people go, oh, it's just about money. Yeah, it's about money to some extent, but it's not just about money. This is about controlling thought, influence, and whatnot, which is a whole other ballgame of conversation that we don't even necessarily want to go down. But it just shows that this data in this age of the future, that is this electric 5G, it's data driven because they're able to anticipate and predict behaviors of people. And that is worth a lot of money.
It is for sure. And you kind of equated it very well in that understanding of, this is a data company as well. They're not on the degree of what a Facebook or a Twitter or Google's able to do. But when they're able to find a way to marry this kind of blockchain technology into their games and stuff like that, I find that to be a really exciting avenue for growth and something that we haven't really seen yet coming out of the gaming sector. So that's what makes it exciting to me to go, wow, there's an endless amount of opportunities over there, this new partnership for Royal Winds. And I think people should be really encouraged by that.
Yes, and we'll have that conversation in the future here, but we've run out of time. We're going too long. All right, Austin. Well, thanks so much. That was great. I really appreciate you catching us up on those two. Lots happening out there, everyone. So stay positive and stay informed, and let's keep plowing ahead.
Yep, absolutely. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. We'll look forward to catching up with you and Brian Ostroff from Arion Phosphate on Friday, Andrew. So looking forward to that.
Definitely looking forward to that one. Take care, everyone.
All right. Cheers, guys.